Well, we lose. We're 1-3. 14-7 Cleveland final. Um, just a fucking disgusting game in almost every way that it can be. Uh, what makes me fucking sick is that the worst people in this fan base and media are happy because they get to now celebrate a loss. They get to celebrate that Kirk Cousins, you know, at least statistically, didn't have a very good game. But it's a broken record. We've been saying it's just been the same thing since 2018. When Kirk has a bad game, it's because the offensive line is bad, and they were fucking terrible today. Like all the good, you know, it's not like I certainly wasn't, at the point where I'm thinking, okay, this is now an elite offensive line all of a sudden. But it's like cold bucket of water got dumped on everybody after this one because this offensive line was just absolutely destroyed pretty much from the start of the game. I mean, other than the first drive, they get the ball to start the game, they go right down the field, score a touchdown. Real nice touchdown pass to JJ. You think, okay, like last week, we're just gonna pick up and keep things going. No, because that was the only touchdown. That was the only time. I think that was the only time we even were in the red zone. Yeah, it's the only time we were in the red zone. And Jesus Christ, that was just a really really sorry effort by that offensive line today. And I, I pair the blame with Klint Kubiak because him too. Maybe we were all getting a little overly excited that, hey, this guy, this new OC, maybe he's really figured things out. And it kind of, first half, at least a little bit, it looked like, okay, it's more of the same. But there was no adjustment at all. Nothing changed. Hold on one second. All right, I had to put the window down. It's a little warm in here. But you're watching this game. I'm sitting there watching this game. And for most of the second half, it was still 11-7. But it didn't feel like that at all. It felt very hopeless because the defense just kept giving. It was kind of a little bit similar to the Cardinal game, where the defense was just giving them chances, and obviously the offense was certainly better in the second half of that game than they were today. But we never took advantage because I don't understand the play calling. I don't understand the schemes. I don't understand anything. There was nothing done to mitigate pressure on Kirk because every fucking play, there's 3-4 guys bursting through the line, or if we got a tight end in there to block, they're mauling him, or if we have a running back in there, they're mauling him. It's just one play after another. It's the same thing, and there's no adjustment made. He did nothing. He did absolutely nothing for the entire, they were already struggling in the first half, after that opening drive. No adjustments at halftime. No adjustments, in game, like nothing, Really, the only plays they made of note, like in the second half, was just like, hey, Kirk's chucking a deep ball somewhere. Like, they did nothing. And we've seen this with other offensive coordinators in this Cousins year. They just don't. They get in these modes where they just, I don't know if it's stubbornness or they just don't prepare or what it is, but they don't adjust when you're Browns have a very good pass rush. Like, the Browns are maybe the best team they've played so far. I mean, I still maybe say Arizona, but best defense you've played. And like, you have to know that they're going to get pressure. Like, I was not going into today expecting this offensive line to manhandle, Cleveland like, they did Seattle, or, like they will other teams, like they might do to Detroit next week. Like, things like that. Like they're not gonna dominate. I'm not expecting them to be dominant every week. But when they're not dominant and when they are being dominated, you have to adjust. And Klint Kubiak didn't do a fucking thing. But it's going to be the same fucking story that we get every time this happens in the last 4 years. It's all going to be blamed on Kirk Cousins. And it already is. Like I took a peek at his stats. Like he his completion percentage wasn't too good. It was like a little over 50. I think he ended up a little over 200 yards. Hell, fuck, we barely had 200 yards of offense till like late in the game. I was not even in the fucking stadium really when they had that last drive. I don't know what happened there. I missed the last Cleveland drive because we had the fourth down where Kirk, again, it was 4th and like 3, I think, and they do absolutely no pass protection for Kirk at all, and he just kind of threw the ball. I think he might even have thrown it backwards, getting sacked, threw the ball in desperation and fell incomplete. And I fucking hit the fucking, I was fucking gone. I was already like, I was like outside, like at the big doors, watching on the little TV screens the last fucking drive, because I was like, wait, so I don't know what happened. I don't know how Cleveland even ended up giving them the ball back, because it looked like they had it all set up to just run the clock out. But yeah, it's so frustrating watching that second half because there's no adjustments made at all, and it's like maybe there's nothing you can do, but they didn't. It looked to me like they didn't even fucking try to do anything, and it just drove me insane because, and it made it feel helpless. Like this is and it becomes 14-7, and you're like, it might as well be 54-7 because you're not doing anything to help Kirk out, and they're not run blocking at all. I don't know what they ended up with rushing yards today. It wasn't very good. They only had a couple runs that were of note at all. They just did nothing, and it pisses me off that it's the same fucking thing that we get. Usually it's against the Bears. We've had it against the Bears a few times. We've had it against a few other teams. Even with Stefanski in 2019, we had this in a couple games. One of them was that one where Diggs then made a fool of himself after. I don't get it, and people are gonna say, "Oh, Zimmer, he doesn't know what he's doing." Like, that's got nothing to fucking do with Zimmer. This is. I don't. And look, Klint Kubiak is 4 games in. I'm trying to be a little bit nice. I'm not gonna call for his head. I kind of was already getting pissed at him. I forget which game it was. It might have been a week 1 game. Like, I'm trying to be nice, but like, make some adjustment. Try something. He did nothing. He did absolutely nothing in this game. And the offensive line is culpable for their performance. But again, Cleveland's got a real good pass rush. They got a good defense. You have to be prepared for this, and you have to be able to adjust. And they didn't. And it didn't seem like they fucking tried. And that's what irritates me the most, is that they didn't seem to even be trying to change up anything. And they keep running, like, they'll run, like, whether it was Dalvin or Madison, they'll run them up the middle. When you're struggling so badly in pass protection, you're not run blocking, and then you're in 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9 every fucking series, and they hit a couple plays here and there. There was one that was called back. Oh, I could rant on the refs, and I might, but I mean, it's so frustrating because it's the same old thing, and now we're going to hear the same old fucking narratives again, that, oh, Kirk is terrible, that he can't play, that he's no good. Show me a fucking quarterback who can succeed with that kind of pass protection. Show me one. Maybe like the top guys like Mahomes or Rodgers, but no one else can. Swap the fucking offensive line performances today, and Kirk puts up probably 5 touchdowns. It's nauseating to watch this. And if there's a silver lining, today was the first time Christian Darrisaw was active. I think he only played on the field goal units or the kicking units. He starts next week. You are starting him against Detroit. No question about it. I don't want to hear anything about, and this isn't just like bash on Rashad Hill, but you got to start him now. Like you get him out there. I don't know. We'll see what the PFF grades are for the other linemen, but maybe you get Wyatt Davis out there too. And look, I acknowledge that this is one of the tougher games that they've had, that they'll have for the whole year, as far as like a matchup. But it's not just a matchup; it's what the coaching staff does to adjust, and they didn't, and it's so fucking frustrating. And it gets Kirk blamed again, and I'm not saying Kirk was perfect. Like there were some throws he missed. He kind of ended up getting sacked one or two times. Maybe he could have throwing the ball away or something, but I mean, it's the same old fucking narrative for 4 years. Like, if Kirk Cousins has a bad game, it is almost 100% because of the pass protection and or the play calling. And here we are again. It's just frustrating, man. I can't deal with this shit. It's constant. And now we don't face this kind of, I don't think we face this kind of pass rush defensive front again for a while, but we are going to face some. We're going to face the Bears. They got a good defense. We got, some other teams that have good defenses. We're going to have to deal with this. And again, I'm trying to be nice to Kubiak. I'm trying to let him grow into the job. This is only game number 4 for him. I understand that, but man, you got to be better than this, man. It's just fucking frustrating. But, well, I guess I've gotten the rant out on the offense at this point. And what also sucks is it wasted a really fucking impressive job by Zimmer's defense. Even though people are calling for Zimmer to be fired because they're 1-3, like, did you fucking see this defense again today? Like, one play was bad. One play was crap. One play is the kind that you can't have, and it's that one right before the half when it was like 3rd and 20, and they hand the ball off and we give up a first down. But like they gave him chance after fucking chance. What else? 3 points in the second half. They've given up 3 points in the second half of the last 2 games facing, very good offenses. It's just fucking frustrating. You know what? I'm gonna start driving. I'm gonna pause here. All right. And we're back, and we're still sad and angry. So, like, Zimmer thing. Get some AC going here. The Zimmer thing. Like, his defense is figuring this shit out. This defense has figured out, at least how to, contain explosive offenses. Because, I mean, not just second halves, but I mean, last 2 games we got 17 and 14 against really good offenses. So, but like it was all for naught today, and I think this was a really good defensive showing. And people were calling for Zimmer to be fired again during the game. I'm reading fucking social media shit during the game. People are calling for Zimmer to be fired. Like, this defense played a terrific game. I'm sorry, they just did, and not just because of not just because hey, it's 14 points. Like, no, they played good. They played a very good game. I mean, it's time. They got Breland out of there. I guess he got hurt again, or he was sick or something like that. They got him out of there. And Dancer was in, and Dancer was making a lot of plays. Patrick Peterson was making some plays. We got one or two sacks. We didn't get we had some pressure. We kind of missed. Shit. Focus on the driving, man. Okay. Although an accident would kind of fit the day. They were getting some pressure. They kind of let a couple would-be sacks get away. It's always annoying when you don't wrap up the sack and then the guy gets away. They got some pressure. They were good in the secondary. Like I felt this was a very good game. Like they gave up a few plays, but I mean you're going to give up some plays. The only one that was something that you really watching or just outraged at was that third 20 run. And that certainly was a big play at the time, but because at that point you're thinking, well, maybe you'll get the ball back before halftime you can try to do something, but this defense has already made a huge improvement from just week 1 or week 2. I mean, they're figuring some stuff out. Zimmer's figuring some stuff out. How to use all these guys, how to get them in the right spots. The results are there. I'm just outraged that the way this game turned out. It completely overshadows what a good job Zimmer did again on defense. I mean, let's get into it. The fucking goal line stand, where and of course they had stopped him on the 4th down inside the 10 on the first drive, where Griffin got in there and got a sack. But then they got him again, late in the first half. They run a goal line stand. I'm good. It's a bullshit fucking call on Kendricks with defensive holding. It wasn't fucking holding. I'm gonna rant on the refs. They fucked us. They fucked us as bad in this game as they did in the Cincinnati game. Just it was more spread out. Bullshit defensive holding. We still got them to 4th and goal again, or at least 3rd and goal, and then they gave it up, and then they get the fucking thing where they said one of our guys called a timeout when we didn't have one, and so there was a delay. I guess we'll take their word for it that happened, because I sure as fuck don't take their word for it that happened. They put the ball at the 1 yard line, they go for 2 and make it. I mean, sure, you want to stop the play, but Jesus fucking Christ, they got 8 points out of a situation they shouldn't have had any, but the fucking refs handed it to them. And it's so fucking irritating watching this shit. It's as bad. It's almost worse watching it in person than on TV. These fucking calls and these obvious. There had to have been about 10 calls in this game, either calls or non-calls that were bad. And guess what? They didn't fucking even out. When people say that this shit evens out, it never fucking evens out. It didn't even out today. We got fucking screwed. I guess I didn't even end up seeing it. I saw a little replay clip. The fucking play at the end of the game, they fucking committed holding on Thielen in the end zone. The last play of the game, they just mug Thielen. They don't call that shit. They'll call a ticky-tack foul on Kendricks, though, that gives a fresh set of downs to Cleveland at the fucking 1. They'll call some bullshit. God, I don't even remember which one it was now. The one that took away. There was one that took away a long pass that we got, and then there was the one they called OPI on KJ Osborne. Him and the fucking D-back are both fighting for the ball, and they're at worst it's just offsetting. But no, they only decided to call it on us, OPI, and it was 3rd and 15 or something after that. Instead of, it would have been 3rd and or it would have been, I forget I don't even remember the downs, but I don't even care. It would have been a short yard situation. I don't know what we would have done there, but instead it was 3rd forever, and that was the end of that drive. So I'm sick to death of these fucking officials making themselves so known in these games, but then when there are obvious calls, they don't make the call. And we're just supposed to fucking take it. Nothing will be done. They probably won't even fucking send an apology letter to Mike Zimmer. That bullshit that they do. Like, they're not going to do anything. The refs, whether it was deliberate or not, we know the thing in Cincinnati was deliberate. They decided to not overturn the Dalvin fumble, even though it was clear. They just decided not to overturn that. That was deliberate. I don't know if all this stuff today was deliberate, but it's fucking infuriating that these officials have to continue to be such a major part of these games and then be so inconsistent in how they call things and be so inconsistent in what team is getting screwed by these fucking calls. And you can say, hey, look, the Vikings made plenty of self-made errors today that costed the game, but these things matter. It's a 14-7 game. 8 of the points were handed to them. That matters. I'm sorry. It does fucking matter. It matters what the mistakes that the Vikings made too, but it also matters that the fucking refs handed Cleveland 8 of the 14 points they got in this game. I'm sorry. It fucking matters. And now we're 1-3. I still don't think this is a bad team at all. Like, I'm sorry. They gotta do better than this when they're gonna face a really good pass rush. They have to do better at blocking. They have to do better at play calling. They have to do better at everything. This defense is good. This defense is going to get even better. They're going to keep them in a lot of games because they're not going to always be facing really potent offenses like Arizona and Seattle and Cleveland. They're going to be facing, the next 2 games. They're going to be facing Detroit and Carolina. And Carolina without McCaffrey. Those teams are not going to be able to hurt you in the ways that the last 3 teams can hurt you. So I expect this defense to be very good over the next couple games heading into the bye. And I hope the offense is, it's not going to matter because they didn't win the Cleveland game now. So everyone's going to say, oh, that doesn't matter. They can't beat good teams. Well, they beat Seattle, and I think Seattle's a good team. So whatever. And if a fucking kick goes through the goddamn uprights from 36 yards out or whatever, they beat Arizona. So I don't want to hear this. We can't beat good teams. They didn't beat a good team today. Cleveland's good. I don't think they're world beaters. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team. But you lost to them, and you shouldn't have lost to them. And I think it was a preventable loss if you just are a little more competent, or at least competent at all, with pass protection, with play calling, with run blocking. It's the same old stuff. Like, and our run defense got beat a few times, but again, they're not going to pitch shutouts. You're not expecting shutouts. They gave up. Anyone who's going to go into the last 2 games saying, hey, you're going to give up 17 to Seattle and 14 to Cleveland, anybody fucking takes that. And they should take it because these are good offenses. And, one side of the ball really did its job today. One side didn't. The narrative is going to be that the one side that didn't is all because of the quarterback. That's not true, but these people are going to say it. And it makes me fucking nauseous that all the worst people in this fan base and media are the ones who are happy about this. They're fucking happy that this game went the way it did and we're 1-3 now. It makes me fucking sick. And it makes me sick that we, self-made mistakes, refs, all the same fucking stuff, man. It's nauseating to have to deal with this shit. But I guess that's how it's going to be. Because they're not going to redo the game because of bad officiating. We don't get a do-over because of bad pass protection. It's just the way it is. That we've got 13 of these left. Then that ain't going to be the last fucking time we have a game where where our offensive line is not performing at a top level. It's not going to be the last. Unfortunately, it's definitely not going to be the last time that we deal with officials. We haven't even played Green Bay yet. You know what the fuck's going to happen with those games. It's nauseating stuff. I can't fucking take this shit with these refs. And this kind of just same old shit with offensive coordinators who won't adjust. Make adjustments, you fucking assholes, man. Like how many plays have we run like all year, even in the games where we're kind of cooking on offense, that get Kirk out in space? That's his bread and butter, for God's sakes. You know, Stefanski sure did that. He sure knew that and did that a lot. You know, it's not just, hey, run play action. It's, hey, let's run play action and then move Kirk out somewhere so he can do something, so he can see the field, make plays. Doesn't have 4 guys in his face every play. I don't get why this situation is always repeating itself over years with different coordinators. And I don't buy the crap that it's Zimmer's fault. Zimmer doesn't want his quarterback to be destroyed by 4 pass rushers in every play. I don't know if it's just ego with some of these guys, or stubbornness, or inexperience maybe in Kubiak's case, or what it is, but it's fucking irritating. Your quarterback is getting mauled. Your offensive line is getting absolutely dominated up front. Do something to mitigate the problem. It's lots of teams out there have bad offensive lines, but they don't seem to have coordinators who keep calling plays to accentuate the negative. Like North Turner did this all the fucking time, and it drove me insane. It's like he would call plays to highlight how bad the offensive line was performing. Like, no, that's not what you want to do. Fucking call plays. If your offensive line is struggling, call plays to minimize the problem. But that didn't happen today, and so we're 1-3, and I'm almost home, so I'm going to stop. But I don't know if I'll do a follow-up. I feel like one video is enough. I've kind of covered everything. But it's going to be an annoying week because all the fucking bad people in this fan base and media are going to they're going to go back into their narratives, and I never bought any of this crap that some of these people are somehow on the Kirk bandwagon. You're not. You're fucking pretending, because then you can, you know, after a game like this that you perceive as being a bad Kirk game and his fault, you know, you can then, you know, make fun of him and call us all Kirk stans or whatever the fuck else you want to say. So I'll probably do, maybe I will do a follow-up later. I don't know. I'm pissed. We're 1-3. It shouldn't have happened. We should be fucking 4-0 away from some of these games. All right. That's me ranting about the Vikings. 14-7 loss. We lost. We're 1-3. It sucks. I still think we're gonna be 3-3 at the bye, but at this point, who gives a shit? If these same fucking problems keep popping up with the offensive line and everything, I don't know. I'm at a loss. This was a really, really fucking frustrating day at the Purple Palace. Crowd was good again. We were hyped up, ready to roll, ready to see a big win, ready to shut up some of these obnoxious Browns fans who kept going hoo 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 the whole fucking game. Jesus fucking Christ, you people are insufferable, man. Shut up. But yeah, I've said all I need to say. Bad loss, ugly loss. Should have been a win, wasn't. What more can you say?